Hello everybody, I'm here. Fix my screen up there. Let me just get this volume going. How are you going? Bit of technical difficulties trying to get on here this morning, but we're going okay. Thank you all for joining me. There's a lot of people in here already. What a time, huh? I haven't done one of these for a while, and I'm using a new program, so I'm going to be a little bit shaky here. this morning as I get my head around this. But I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to be on for, I think, about an hour this morning, so it's a shorter one than normal. Directly after this one, I've got a live chat that I'm doing with Patreon supporters. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you can head over to Patreon, and I've sent out a link that you can go through, and you can access the Patreon exclusive chat after this. It's going to be a smaller chat with, again, exclusive to Patreon supporters. We'll just be chatting, just an open chat and stuff. But this one is for everyone. And again, I'm going to be on for an hour, and I'm going to be taking questions from the chat and all that. We've got a lot of people sending in stuff already. Hey Dave, how was your Christmas and New Year so far? Lachlan Janetsky says, it's been great. I've been taking a little bit of time off, which has been awesome. It's nice and refreshing not to be working every single day. So it's been nice to just sort of chill out a little bit and just, you know, just not have to work constantly, which is good. But I thought I'd, you know, do something like this just to kind of keep some content going, keep some stuff going on out there for you guys while I'm sort of taking a little bit of time off from big videos. I'll open questions up just in a moment from the chat, just a few housekeeping things. The only thing I can say is don't spam the chat with your question because it annoys other people in the chat. It's happened in the past where people just spam the same question over and over and over again. It annoys other people, so just be respectful of other people in the chat. That's really all I can say. If you want a chat answered, like 100%, you want your question answered, the best way to do it is to send in a super chat. And whoa, oh, how good's the timing on that? Which way? This way. We've just got a super chat from C Gonza. I was gonna say, C Gons, thank you so much for sending through a super chat, a very generous one. I was gonna say, if you want your question answered, the best way to do it is send in a super chat, and just like that, we got one come through from C Gons. That's going to be the best way for you guys to get a question through, especially because we're on such a tight schedule today. We're only going to be on here for an hour. We got another super chat coming through as well, I believe. We'll probably see the graphics coming up. I was going to tell you. Graphics will come up on the screen when you send through a super chat. Your name will be up on and everything. It seems like there might be a little bit of a delay in those graphics coming through, though, because I do have a couple of super chats. But we'll answer this one first. We'll open questions for everyone. There we go. There's the other one right there. Thank you for Carter Lovejoy. I'll answer these two first. But again, if you do want a question answered, your best way of doing that is sending through a super chat. I will see them all. I will answer them all. Otherwise, it's a free-for-all in the chat. And again, just don't spam your questions. And the only one question I ask not to submit is cartoon evolution requests. I'm constantly inundated with them every single day on every single platform. I've seen every possible one. I've got my yearly thing planned out. I love how passionate you guys are about the Cartoon Evolution series and all that stuff. But just constant spamming of like evolution requests kind of floods out all the other questions. So anyway, let's get into this one. So C Gons are sending a super chat. Thank you so much. They say, what is your favourite food? Also favourite character. Big fan here. I am 10. My name is Trev. Thanks so much for joining me, Trev. My favourite food is pasta. I love a good pasta. I'll eat pasta every single day, multiple times. I don't, but I would if I had the choice. If there was no other food in the world but pasta, I would do it. I'd eat it every single day. I know they do that in Italy. I've been to Italy multiple times. I'm half Italian, which is probably why I love pasta so much. You go over there, they have their big pasta meal for lunch, and then they have a big pasta meal for dinner again. Some of them probably have pasta for breakfast. Who knows? Like Elf, you know, puts the syrup on the pasta. My favourite character, it's always got to be Mickey Mouse, the OG. No, he's not the OG. There were characters before him, but Mickey Mouse. You got to start there. Thanks again for your super chat, Trev. I really appreciate that, and thank you for your support. Very cool. Now, Carter Lovejoy has also sent in a super chat as well, so we'll go to that. If there's any people from Italy out there right now enjoying a nice bowl of pasta as you're watching this, let me know. We'll celebrate the pasta. I just love a good pasta. Bolognese, carbonara, all of it. I love it. Carter Lovejoy has also sent in a super chat. What do you hope to see hit 4K in 2021? Do you have any hopes for Disney to do more 4K in 2021? Thank you for your super chat right there. I don't know, man. A lot of the stuff that I really wanted to hit 4K has hit 4K now, which is awesome. I don't really have a huge wish list. I know Warner Brothers, there's been a bit of chatter at the moment that Warner Brothers has got like a massive slate of 4K titles coming out next year. Chief amongst them, stuff like Shawshank Redemption, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Space Jam, which everyone's going to be very excited about. That's going to hit 4K, apparently. There's a few other titles. I think they're reissuing Batman v Superman. There's like a new remastered 4K version of that. I don't know what the deal with that is. And the... what is it? The Zack Snyder Justice League is heading to 4K as well, apparently. But there's a couple of exciting ones in there. I'll definitely pick up Space Jam and Willy Wonka for sure. Shawshank's a great movie. I don't know if I need to update. Don't know if I need to upgrade that one again. We'll see. But yeah, so those ones are exciting. But again, sort of, I know Indiana Jones has had a 4K restoration recently, and it should be coming out this year, I think, is kind of the chatter that's happening. I think that's like that's probably the last thing that's like on my wish list at the moment as far as 4K. We've had Star Wars, we've had Back to the Future, we've had like The Wizard of Oz, my favorite film of all time. Indiana Jones is really the last like big franchise that I want to get on 4K. Other than that, like Casablanca, I'm surprised Warner Brothers haven't put Casablanca out in the format yet. Ben-Hur, I'd love to see some more like classic Technicolor films out on 4K, like Ben-Hur, like Gone with the Wind. That'd be fantastic. But otherwise, I think I'm all set. I think most of the ones I'm looking forward to are coming out. Gravity is another one that Warner Brothers should be released next year. I think that'll be good. And do I have hopes for Disney to do more 4K in 2021? Always hopes for Disney to do 4K. No one really knows what's going on there. The talk is that they are no longer doing 4K back catalogue titles as far as live action, like catalogue films are concerned. I'd love to see stuff like Pirates of the Caribbean, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Mary Poppins, get the 4K treatment on disc. But it sounds like that's probably not a possibility at the moment. I don't know. We'll see. But as far as I'm aware, they're probably still going to be doing 4K discs for animated titles. I think the Signature Collection's done and dusted. We haven't had one of them for a year. So I think the best bet really is reissues of titles that may be a live-action remake. So, like, we're getting a Peter Pan film. We're getting that Cruella film. We're getting Pinocchio. I feel like the only releases that we'll get from Disney physically, as far as back catalogue animation, will be ones that tie in with the films. I love to do that, and I'm hoping that opens a possibility for stuff like Pinocchio and 101 Dalmatians or Peter Pan to get the 4K treatment. You just don't know. They're very unpredictable at the best of times, Disney, and they always have been. But it's part of the fun of it, I suppose. But yeah, I'd love to see them do more 4K. But whether or not it's going to happen, who knows? Going forward, like new release titles should still be getting physical releases. So we just had Mulan come out. We had Onward earlier in the year. I believe Soul is headed to... There's a little bit of chatter happening at the moment that Soul should be getting a physical release, despite being a Disney Plus original, as they're calling it. That should be getting a 4K release probably around like March, April, I think. That's the chatter that I'm hearing at the moment. Nothing official. I haven't heard anything official on that yet, but the kind of chatter that I'm hearing. So hopefully they just keep that up. That'd be really nice, because I don't want this future where it's just streaming. Let's get to some other questions here in the chat. Once again, thanks to Carter Lovejoy and Seagons for sending in some very generous super chats right there. Once again, best way to get your question answered is on the super chat. Your name will pop up on the screen over here, over there. When you send through a super chat, I'll answer every single one of them. Otherwise, it's a free-for-all just down in the chat here. We've got Animations Down Under says, here's a question. What do you think of The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse? I think it's a good little series. Very indistinguishable from the previous Mickey Mouse series. But Disney have like a habit of doing this, don't they? Where they kind of relaunch, or they like do a new season of a show that's already been on, but they rebrand it with a different title. It's essentially the same old show that we've had since 2013, the Paul Rudish shorts. But they've rebranded it, they've given it a new name, and they put it on Disney+. It's essentially the same thing, but it's good. It's a nice little thing. I've had a look at it at a couple. I haven't watched them all, but I've looked at a couple of them, and they're quite good. I think they're quite good. I've always liked those Paul Rudish shorts. They have some sort of like kind of quirky little charm to them, I think. So yeah. Mr. Black Screen. And I see that his avatar is just a black screen. There you go. Who is your favourite Animaniacs character? I don't know. I don't know if I can pick one. I love them all. I think they've all got their own little dynamics. The dynamic of the three, it's like when you talk about like an ensemble cast like that, it's kind of hard to pick a favorite or to kind of pick one that stands apart. It's like my favorite show of all time is Friends, and The Office and Frasier. I like these. I love these shows where it's like very really ensemble character driven, and it's just so hard to pick a favorite character because they all, if you lose one of the characters from the show, as is proof with The Office actually when Steve Carell left in the last last 2 seasons or so, the show just loses something a little bit, because that ensemble is not quite the same anymore. So I don't know. I don't think I can really pick a favorite Animaniacs character. I like them all. I think they're all really cool. Pokemon Trainer Tony says, as a history buff, I love the cartoon Evolution series. What can we expect in 2021 for the series? I did say I don't want to take Evolution requests, but I can talk on this because I'm very excited. I've got a really good slate coming up for 2021 as far as Cartoon Evolution is concerned. I posted, let me see if I can find it. I did post to the message board, the community board on YouTube. Best way to keep up to date with all this stuff is to check the community board, follow me on down here, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. You'll get like regular updates on stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So I posted this one on the community board not long ago. Let's see if I can. I might have to turn the brightness down on that actually. Whoa. Oh, I've lost it. Give me a second. Technical glitches. Community board. So there's a little taster of what we got coming up in the new year. We got Elmer Fudd. Everyone wants Elmer Fudd. I've been getting that request for a long time. Finally, Elmer Fudd will get his time. We got Droopy. We got Yogi Bear. Got this little guy up here. Winnie the Pooh. He's finally going to get an evolution. We got Superman. I'm really excited about that. We got a big anniversary for Superman coming up from the Fleischer cartoons, and we're going to try and coincide that with. I don't like to reveal when I'm gonna drop these things, but I'm gonna try and coincide that with the Zack Snyder Justice League on HBO Max. So that's not that far away. So get excited for that. Sometimes I say things and it doesn't happen. It might be later in the year. We'll just see how my schedule pans out. I've also teased the Rugrats and Time Turn Adventures there as well. I'd say that they're probably pending. There's word that the new series is supposed to be launching this year, but we know what it's been like the last few years where things are just constantly being cancelled or delayed or whatever. So I think me doing evolutions on those characters in particular really relies on whether those shows do go through this year. And if they don't, then I'll push them back a year or so. But I do have a whole slate. I'm very excited. I'm trying to think if there's any others on the slate that I can reveal just yet. I'm going to reveal my first one for the year. I haven't done this anywhere, but I'll give it to you guys because you've all shown up for this live stream here. It's either early in the morning wherever you are or late at night. I appreciate you turning out. So I'm going to give you a hot scoop. It's an exclusive right here. February, Cartoon Evolution returns. It's going to return in late February. I'm not doing one in January because I just need like a little bit of a break from big videos. Cartoon Evolution can be a bit taxing on me, especially when I do like back to back to back. It's a bit tiring because it's a lot of work. So what I'm going to be doing is there'll be no January Cartoon Evolution, but there'll be one in February, late February. Get on with it, Dave. We are doing Tom and Jerry's Spike and Tyke. This is one that has been requested heavily for a very, very long time. And we're going to coincide this one with the Tom and Jerry movie that's coming out in February. I think this is most likely going to be like a Cartoon Evolution short. So it'll be like a short, hopefully 10, 15 minute video on the history of Spike and Tyke. So I'm excited to get into that one. It's going to be interesting to see how that one goes. I think you should all love it. I think you should all love it. It's going to be exciting. So let's get back to the chat. There's a lot of chat in here, lots. My chat's just updated, and I'm at the top of this huge chat. So again, the best way for you to get a question answered is to send in a super chat, and I will answer every single super chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to go through this enormous feed of questions here and just kind of pick out a few things. Tom and Jerry says pasta. Tom and Jerry asks pasta. I'm guessing you may have come in halfway through me talking about pasta, because I love pasta, my favourite food. Someone asked me what my favourite food is, so I was talking about pasta. Bryson Robinson asked, how did you react with Tiny Toons Looniversity when Tiny Toons Looniversity was announced? I was like this. Yes, awesome. I love Tiny Toons. I love Animaniacs. I love all that. So it's very exciting to get these shows back. The new Animaniacs is great. What I've seen of it. Unfortunately, we don't have HBO Max here, so I've just seen little bits and pieces online. And what I've seen of it is really good. I like it. So if they bring that kind of vibe to Tiny Toon, man, I'm excited. I think I probably watched more Tiny Toons than Animaniacs when I was younger, so I'm probably more excited about that one. We've got a question from Living My Jeff Live. Thanks for turning up, Jeff. What was your favourite thing to recently open back up? What was my favourite thing to recently open back up? I'm not too sure if I understand your question there, Jeff. If you could maybe specify what you're saying there. I've got old mate Rick over here moderating, so he'll give me the heads up when you come through with what's my favourite thing to open back up. I'm not sure, but let me know, and he'll get to me, and I will answer that one in a moment. Sarah G. Tolan asks, Dave, favourite TV show? It's tough. I have a lot of favourite TV shows. I'm a big sitcom fan. I love comedy. So like I said before, like stuff like Friends and Frasier and The Office, The King of Queens are shows that I just love. I grew up with them and just watch constantly. The Simpsons I love. That's a show that I watched more than any other when I was a kid. Stuff like that. As far as like other stuff, I could probably show that's on at the moment. I really love Better Call Saul, and like Breaking Bad, all that stuff I really love. And The Crown is one that I love on Netflix. I just love that. I've got to binge that one when it comes through. Just a little bit of stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that I watch. Very varied. But sitcoms is kind of like, for me, is like the big thing. Kristen Maldonado, thanks for joining me, Kristen. It's great to see you in here. Kristen has a really fantastic YouTube channel and podcast and everything. Pop Culture Planet. I've done an episode with her. It's really wonderful to have you here. Thank you. Go and check her out. Go and subscribe and check her stuff out. She does some really wonderful stuff. Hey, Dave, what's your favourite and least favourite show from 2020? Oh, man. Let me think. My favourite show from 2020. It's a tough one because there was a lot of really good stuff last year. One that really, really surprised me, and I think this was last year. It could have been 2019. I'm going to double check on it before I say it. And let's have a look. I'm just double checking here. Yeah, it was last year. The Great with Elle Fanning and Nicholas Hoult was one that just really surprised me. I thought it was just a really fantastic, quirky, witty show. Performances in that were terrific from both Elle Fanning and Nicholas Hoult. Just such a good show. I think it was that a Hulu program? I think we don't have Hulu here, so it went to one of the local streaming services here called Stan. I loved it. I thought it was so good. Least favorite show of this year. I'm not sure if I really had a least favorite one that came out in 2020. But one that I did watch this year, which I thought, this is one from like going back a few years, is the Fargo series with Ewan McGregor. That was such a slog to get through. I was so excited. Ewan McGregor, yes. For me, that one. Other ones, I watched a show called Future Man. Again, this is another like a few years old as well. First season was terrific. I thought it was really great. Second season just went to absolute trash. It's awful. Second season, couldn't even get to the end. Actually, I did get to the end, but I struggled there. I think by watching season 3. But as far as like new releases from 2020, pretty much everything I watched this year I enjoyed, like Mandalorian, The Crown, that one with Anna Kendrick, the HBO Max thing, was that called Love Life? I really enjoyed that. I watched a lot of TV this year. I'm struggling to think, but I really liked everything that I saw come out of 2020. So I can't say I had a least favourite. I had a least favourite, I don't think. What else we got on here? Shadowed Shade says, did the horse from the origin first source of animation, aka the galloping horse, have a name? I don't know actually. Off the top of my head, I couldn't answer that one. But yeah, one of the very first like pieces of film or animation was like a stop-start thing of a horse I think that's what Shadowed Shades is talking about. I don't know if I assume the horse had a name. I don't know it though, off the top of my head. Ice Luigi Star Pictures asks, what voice evolutions do I plan to put out? Again, I don't like to talk too much about evolutions on here, but I do have a couple of voice evolutions coming out this month. Like I said, I'm not doing too much big content this month, but I'm just going to be dropping little sprinkles of things every now and then. There are 2 voice evolutions coming out this month for characters that I probably should have got to a very long time ago. But I won't spoil that. I'll leave that as a surprise for you guys. They'll drop. There'll probably be one this week and one next week, I think, just to kind of keep stuff going up. Just kind of scrolling through the chat here. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of questions. Lewis Thompson asks, out of all the blockbusters set to be released this year, which one do you think will reign supreme if they do decide to come out this year? Ooh, we have got a lot of big movies scheduled for this year. I feel like Black Widow's probably going to be pretty big. Not only is it Marvel, but it's the first Marvel movie we've had in cinemas for a year and a half. By that point, almost 2 years. So our last one, Spider-Man Far From Home, is the last Marvel thing in cinemas, which was, when was that? Was that like July 2019? Far From Home, let me look. A long time ago. I'm trying to look at the release date here. I can't find it. Where are you? Where are you? July, 1st of July 2019. So by the time Black Widow's out, it's like pushing 2 years since we've had a Marvel movie go to cinemas. So I think that's probably going to do pretty well. I also think the next Mission Impossible is probably going to be huge. We've also got Top Gun 2 is coming out. I think they're probably going to be the 3 that are going to be like huge films. As far as like stuff like, I'm thinking like stuff like Godzilla v Kong, I feel like will probably do good money. But the fact that they're doing like dropping it on HBO Max and cinemas at the same time, I feel like it's going to hinder the box office. I think this year is just going to be, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with box office for any films, because, you know, we're still at the height of this worldwide pandemic that's been going on for a year now, and that's going to continue to have, you know, ramifications on everything in the world, and, you know, as we know, on the face of cinema as well. So I feel like the way that we start assessing what blockbusters, I had a subscription, I didn't know that happens, but someone subscribed to the channel, it's popped up. But yeah, I feel like that we're going to start reassessing what equates to like a really, another subscription. We're going to start reassessing what equates to like a really good take in the box office. It's going to be interesting, but I think those are probably the ones that are probably going to reign supreme. Black Widow, another subscription. Subscribe to the channel. Your name will come up on here, please. I feel like that's very exciting. Subscribe, come on, guys. Get your name on the channel without having to pay for a super chat. But I also would love super chats. So I feel like Black Widow. We've got Top Gun 2, and we've also got Mission Impossible. What is it, 7? I think they're probably going to be the biggest ones this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Space Jam 2 did big numbers as well. But again, that's an HBO Max one, so I feel like the Warner Brothers stuff is going to be, I don't know, it's going to be interesting to have a look. Josephine Waldemar asks, hey Dave, is there a fairy tale that you think Disney should tackle that they haven't yet? I've always thought Disney would be, now they've sort of tackled it before. He was one of the characters in Once Upon a Time. We're talking about Rumpelstiltskin. But I always thought like an animated Rumpelstiltskin film would be interesting. I think it would be a bit dark. It is a pretty dark story, but I think they could do something interesting and quirky with the character, like what they did with him in Once Upon a Time. I feel like that would work really well in an animated form. Otherwise, I'm not sure. I feel like they've ticked off like most of the really big ones, haven't they? Three Bears, I think they could do something like maybe really interesting with like the Three Bears, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, or Red Riding Hood. I think you could get some fun, like quirky stuff out of that. Now think about it. Three Bears. Let's get that happening, Disney. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'd love to see them go back to do like more fairy tale stuff, going back to the fairy tale origins. That's where they really knock it out of the park. Carter Lovejoy says, why no Jungle Book Signature Collection? I just honestly feel like the advent of Disney Plus, Disney have no real need to release titles or catalog titles on Blu-ray or physical media because everything is on Disney Plus, and I feel like they just want to really push people to Disney Plus. As I said earlier, I feel like the only way we're going to be getting reissues of movies on physical now is if it's tying into a live action film release. I feel like they just they should have done Jungle Book and Fantasia from the signature line. But you know what happened? They did this with the what's the previous line? The Diamond Collection, Diamond editions. They were supposed to do Pinocchio as a diamond, but that didn't happen. They just got cancelled that prematurely, and I just feel like they've done the same with Signature Collection, unfortunately. Mason Wrigley asks, "Are you excited for Space Jam: A New Legacy?" Of course I am, man. I'm so excited. That's probably one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I grew up with Space Jam. I was like maybe 5 years old when the first Space Jam came out. I remember the hype and everything that came out of Space Jam hitting cinemas, the merchandise, the tie-ins with McDonald's or Hungry Jack's, Michael Jordan doing all kinds of commercials and all that stuff. It was awesome. It was an awesome time. And I still love that movie. It still holds up, I think, really well. Going to the super chat. Blake Eisen donated. Thank you, Blake. I will answer your super chat just in a moment. But yeah, I'm very excited for Space Jam: A New Legacy, and I hope that I hope when that comes out, it has that same sort of hype behind it for the new generations. I'd love I feel like we don't get many huge event films like that anymore that just take over culture. Specifically, now we've got streaming and everything. I feel like that just dulls the hype behind a lot of stuff. But along those movies, kids movies that came out in the 90s, just the hype, maybe it was because I was a kid, I don't know, but just the hype behind them was just so awesome. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Space Jam 2. Now Blake says, "I'm late, but I'm here. Completely forgot about daylight savings. Oh no. How are you today?" I'm doing well, Blake. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for your super chat. I am doing well. I'm nice and refreshed. I've had some time off. I've been doing a little bit of work in between. As you know, I've been getting a few videos up. But I'm feeling nice and refreshed and good. It's nice. I've been getting some sleep-ins too. I don't often get to sleep in, which is nice. So I'm doing well. I'm enjoying being here with all these wonderful people on the live chat here today as well. So thank you so much for your super chat, Blake. Very, very wonderful. Once again, if you do want your question guaranteed answer, because I'm going through here and there's a lot of questions and we've got half an hour left. If you want a question definitely guaranteed 100% answered, best way to do that is a super chat. You get your name up on the screen over here, which is awesome. KR My Studios says, "What's your opinion on South Park?" South Park is a show that I could never really get into. It's something I watched when I was younger. I watched quite a bit of it, but it's never something that I really loved. It's a very funny show. It is a very funny show, and it's a very clever show as well. But there's something about it that just never really, I don't know whether it was just something that I just never really fell in love with. But it is if it's on, and there's nothing else on, I will watch it. But it's not something that I'm a huge fan of. Kfig Custom asks, "Do you have a favourite Hanna-Barbera series?" It is the Flintstones, hands down. I love the Flintstones. I grew up with a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff. I remember they used to play it constantly on, they might still do, but Cartoon Network, Boomerang, they played all the Hanna-Barbera stuff. So I would watch stuff like the Flintstones, the Jetsons. Top Cat was another favourite I really loved. Yogi Bear, Speed, I always get it wrong. Is Speed, Wacky Racers, not Speed Racer, Wacky Racers, Dastardly and Muttley, all those things. But, I watched all of them. Magilla Gorilla, all of them, just so great. But Flintstones was the top for me. I love the Flintstones. And Jetsons was probably very close second. I love them. I love them all. But Flintstones, I think, is just that. I think it's maybe the edge that the show had. It would push the boundaries a little bit more than some of the other stuff. It was just always really fun and it was really funny, and I really enjoyed them. I still enjoy them. I just bought the Blu-ray. I haven't looked at it just yet, but I got to get to that. My Blue Yoshi says, "Hey Dave, will you talk about Peppa Pig on your channel?" Probably not. I will be completely honest about that. I probably won't talk about Peppa Pig. Not really my kind of demographic. I think it's maybe a little too young for the channel. and it's just nothing that I'm incredibly that interested in. So it's probably nothing that I will ever dive into, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But I see you like Mario, My Blue Yoshi. I get a lot of people asking about like Mario and stuff. I'm considering maybe doing like a Mario video at some point, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's have a look. Angel Martinez says it feels like watching the original Mickey Mouse short with a modern retelling. I feel like this is in relation to a question I answered like 15, 20 minutes ago. So I really got to get rolling on this chat. This is how far back I am on this chat. So again, if you do want a question answered 100%, best way to do that is to send through a super chat. Let's have a look. What else have we got through here? Aaron Johnson says, hey Dave, do you think that Disney should tackle older movies such as Robin Hood as a possible choice for a remaster on Blu-ray and digital? I'm always open for Disney revisiting all of their old movies. A lot of the films from like that era, from kind of like the so-called Dark Age, were never treated that well on Blu-ray. A lot of them have like really bad DNR and all that kind of stuff. And I do feel like they could probably do with new remasters and stuff. Whether Disney, again, are willing to continue with physical media as far as catalog titles releases, we just don't know at the moment. But I would love to see them go back and, like, especially some of those ones that they botched the transfers on. We talk about stuff like Sword of the Stone and Mickey's Christmas Carol, stuff like that. I feel like they could really benefit from going back and doing like a proper remaster, for sure. For sure. Mr. Big Shot Kicker asks, what are those posters? These are, I'm assuming you're talking about these ones in the back. These are posters for movies, for classic movies. Younger ones in here probably haven't seen them or maybe not have heard of them, but these are some of the greatest movies ever made. Casablanca, I honestly think is the most perfect film ever made. Like, everything about that movie is just perfect. And I feel like if you're serious about cinema or movies or whatever, you're interested in like the history of movies and stuff, that's the movie you got to check out. It's a very important movie. Check that one out. This one here, Rebel Without a Cause, James Dean. He's just one of the coolest and great movie. Bus Stop with the wonderful Marilyn Monroe. That's probably my favorite Marilyn Monroe film. One of, anyway. A really great film. Worth checking out. And Breakfast at Tiffany's. The great Audrey Hepburn. I mean, I love this movie. I love it. Again, this is another movie that's very, very close to being perfect. And this one over here is Cool Hand Luke. Paul Newman, who you guys may know as the voice of Doc from Cars. Doc Hudson. Yeah, Paul Newman. In his prime, he was a cool, cool man. And Cool Hand Luke, just a damn good movie. Over here, you don't see this side that often, but I've got Dracula and Frankenstein up there. They're Mondo prints. So if you know Mondo, they do some really great like screen prints, original artwork and stuff. So I ordered them in. I had to get them. They're just great films. But yeah, so I had to. The whole design here was like sort of Art Deco, sort of like early 1920s, 30s, 40s kind of Hollywood. But we wanted to go with the theme, and so we kind of picked out a few posters from really great classic movies. They kind of all had the same colour scheme too, so they all tie in really nicely together. I just saw a question here. Where is that? Blue Penguin says, what is your favourite classic movies from the 20s through 40s? Again, yeah, these ones here. I mean, Breakfast at Tiffany's is 60s. You're pushing 60s with that. Bus Stop, I think, was probably 50s. And Rebel Without a Cause, 50s as well. But Casablanca's, if we're talking about like 20s to 40s, Casablanca, great film. Wizard of Oz, my favourite film of all time. And that was kind of made just at that like peak of Hollywood as well. Really, really wonderful movie. I think they're probably my two favourites. Otherwise, there's a really great movie with Clark Gable and why does her name escape me right now? Because I think she's really wonderful. Claudette Colbert, called It Happened One Night. Just a really wonderful, like one of the earliest kind of romantic comedies, screwball comedy. So much fun. I love it so much. As a Frank Capra film, who did some wonderful movies in that era. We talk about It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, the one with Gary Cooper, I've forgotten the name of it for some reason, but it's just some really, really, really wonderful movies. So yeah, check them out for sure. Susan Penwell says, hey Dave, can you do that evolution? I didn't realize it was an evolution question I wanted to read it, but anyway, Can you do the evolution? I know it's not a cartoon, but Calvin and Hobbes. I don't know, probably not. I don't really want to do too many evolutions that are not like cartoons, like comic strips and stuff. I made an exception with Peanuts because of its cultural impact, because of how huge it was, and because it has, you know, a long history in animation as well. Comics is just not really my my expertise. My expertise is in film and animation, and I feel like doing something that is more aimed at like comic strips and stuff, I just probably a little bit out of. I could probably do it, but I feel like I'd be a little bit like a bit of fish out of water doing something like that. But I have, like, I've done Popeye, I've done Peanuts, but they've had like that long history in animation as well, which is why I touched on those ones. But never say never. You just never know. Emmanuel Cleverin says, I've lost the question, but I'm pretty sure it was, what's your favourite Looney Tunes character? And I have to say, Bugs Bunny is the man. Bugs Bunny, great guy. My cartoon evolution, Bugs Bunny. I mean, that's like my most watched video ever. It's like 1.3 million views or something crazy. So I owe a lot to that guy for my, you know, kind of semi-success on this platform. That video really helped grow my subscriber base, which is really wonderful, and my following and all of that. So it's been, yeah, Bugs Bunny. But otherwise, Daffy Duck is just cool. I love like the main ones. I'm never one to like pick an obscure character. I know my answers are always really boring, but I love like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, and just the work that the filmmakers did with those characters. I just have always thought is just so cool. So yeah, those two for sure, and very funny, of course. Red King Gaming says, do you think Warner Brothers should do a Sylvester and Tweety movie? I think so. I think it'd be actually really cool. I mean, if they did it like in the same style as the Tom and Jerry movie that's coming out soon, live action, animated, I think that'd be really cool, actually. Kind of like maybe you've got Granny as a live action character, and Sylvester and Tweety are just kind of wreaking havoc around the house. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Angel Martinez says, has there been cartoon parodies of those movies? I don't know if you're talking about the ones behind me or the movies I spoke about. I think you will find probably a lot of parodies of, specifically Casablanca. They did Carrot Blanca, which was the Looney Tunes one. It's like a short film where they did like Casablanca with Looney Tunes characters. So those who don't know Casablanca and may know Carrot Blanca, that's that film. But all of these movies you will see parodied a lot, whether it be in animation or other movies or anything like that. For sure. David K. Show answered, do you like the Ren and Stimpy show? That's one I could never get into, weirdly. I don't know, maybe it was just a bit young at the time, because that was one that was really pushing for that adult audience. I was very young. I was nothing that I ever really watched, and thus nothing I've ever really gone back to in the past. So that's a show that I just don't really know a lot about and never really watched a lot of. What else have we got here? My chat's frozen. Jeffrey Richard says, hi Dave, I'm wondering which animated movie for 2021 is the best. Well, we don't know which one's the best just yet because we haven't seen them all, but I can say what do I think might be the best. I can't wait for Space Jam and Tom and Jerry. I think they're both going to be a lot of fun. I know they're both like hybrid, live action and animation, but I think they're going to be fun. I think they're probably going to be like the standout when it comes to animation and stuff for 2021. I'm really looking forward to those two. Otherwise, what have we got from... Oh, I've got Raya and the Last Dragon. I think that could be... I think they could be really good. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Let's have a look. Scrolling through the chat. Devesh Sood asks, if Disney made an R-rated animated film, what do you think would be the source? Furthermore, if they adapted an old classic into an R-rated version, what would the film be? Oh, that's interesting. I feel like if Disney did like like this would never happen. But I feel like it would be less than something like, it would be less like Sausage Party, if you think about Sausage Party, very crude. I don't think they would push like the crude, I don't think they'd do like a crude animated thing. But I feel like they could do something like maybe push the boundaries like an action thing, like maybe an R-rated kind of action. Again, this will never happen, but just spitballing. I feel like that would be like the route they'd go. And maybe they do like a super violent take on a fairy tale or something. We were talking about Little Red Riding Hood or Rumpelstiltskin before. They can be pretty dark stories. Maybe that's the R-rated Disney movies. If they adapted an old classic into an R-rated version, what film would it be? I think it'd be really cool to see like an R version of Peter Pan, like amp up the violence, like the sword fights and all that kind of stuff. I think that'd be really cool. Like a just really action-heavy Peter Pan film. Peter Pan up against Captain Hook, sword fighting. It'd be like Pirates of the Caribbean, but R-rated. Oh man, that would be cool. That would be cool. Disney, if you're listening, don't take any of these suggestions. But please do, because it'd be good. Let's have a look. What else have we got? LS Barney asks, have I seen Thomas the Tank Engine? Yeah, I grew up with it. Thomas the Tank Engine's been going for decades now. It was going when I was a kid, for sure. Absolutely watched Thomas the Tank Engine as a kid. Let's have a look. Gillian Felix says, would be surprising if Illumination won an Oscar for Best Animated Feature. Would it be surprising? I don't think it would be surprising. I think Illumination does some good stuff. They have a lot of duds as well. But I think they're still like a fairly new... I mean, they've been around for a long time now. I mean, 10 plus years maybe. But they have done some decent stuff, and I feel like they're still, a fledgling studio. You look at like Pixar, they did really wonderful movies at the beginning of their, the beginning of their life. But it took 10 years for them to get to something like, Ratatouille or WALL-E or Inside Out or something that's just so, really, really just like eye-opening. I feel like Illumination, they eventually in the future, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because I have enjoyed some of the stuff they've done. I enjoy the Despicable Me movies. I just think they're just stupid fun. But I think they just get the right people on board. The animation's nice. It's different. I think, eventually, get right people on board, right writers and filmmakers and stuff. Like, I think it's almost a given that at some point they will win an Oscar for Best Animated Feature, but how long that'll take, who knows? Aunt Dylan517 asked a question I've actually had on here before. Can you eat kangaroo? You actually can eat kangaroo. You wouldn't find a lot of places that serve it, but occasionally you'll go to a place that has kangaroo on the menu. I've never eaten kangaroo before. I don't think I ever will. But it's on the menu, and apparently it's very like gamey and dirty and not very nice. Very tough. I'm being told that it tastes like beef. But it's not something I don't know. I like kangaroos too much. I don't think I really want to eat one. But you can buy kangaroo jerky as well. So like, I don't really know too much about what jerky is. It gets like a dried meat. The American viewers will know what jerky is because it's huge over there. But you can get like a kangaroo jerky as well. Very, very sad. I don't know. I couldn't eat kangaroo. I couldn't do it, but you can. But people do. People do eat kangaroo. Alvin Massey, apologies if I've got your name wrong. Hello from Toronto. Hello, Toronto. I've never been to Toronto. I'd love to go to Toronto. I'd love to go to Canada. I've been to America, but I've never made the jump to Canada before. I'd love to see Canada. I think I love like the idea of like the Yukon, the Canadian Yukon. Like you think about like the old West, like cowboys and stuff. I just think Canada looks so cool. And I'll get to Canada one day. Oh, I want to know where's everyone coming from? Let me know in the comments. It's always interesting to know where people are watching from. Bowser Bar says, "Hey Dave, do you like Cartoon Network?" I haven't watched Cartoon Network in a long time, but I used to love Cartoon Network when I was younger. I would watch it all the time. I didn't have Nickelodeon, but I had Cartoon Network, which is I watched it all the time. I loved it. Let's have a look. What else we got here? Again, we've got 10 minutes here, guys. I am going to have to cap this out after an hour today. So the best way for you to get a question answered right now really is the Super Chat function. And I will definitely 100% answer any question that does come through on the Super Chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to be picking kind of randomly here for the next 10 minutes. We'll get a few more questions in. Ecuadorian Miyamado says they're from Ecuador. What countries would you want to see get an animated film based on them, like Coco and others? I love the diversity of cultures we now have with animated films. That's a great question, and I love that too. I think, yeah, again, we've got, Coco has represented really the stuff like Coco, and we talk about Ryan the Last Dragon, which is preparing to, delve into Southeast Asian culture and stuff. And we've got, and Kanto, which is coming out very soon, which is going to be wonderful. I'd always said like I want to see something set in Italy, and maybe that's because of my Italian heritage. And I love the country. I think it'd be wonderful. But Pixar's doing that with Luca. That's their next big animated film is coming out. So I'm excited to see that. Otherwise, just like Europe, I'd like to see like stuff set in like, Eastern Europe, or I don't know. I think it'll be kind of cool to see something like. I mean, think about like Anastasia. If you go back to Anastasia, the old Fox animated film, that was obviously set in Russia, and the visuals in that were gorgeous. I'd love to see like a CG animated thing that kind of delved into that. Other than that, I'm not sure. I feel like we've almost covered I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What do you guys reckon? We've got people in here from Romania, which is awesome. New York City, California, Romania, Utah, Chicago, Illinois. I've been to a lot of these places. New Orleans. I haven't been to New Orleans. I've been to Chicago. I've been to California. I haven't been to Utah. I've been to New York many times. Wonderful to see people from all over the world, which is really, really cool. We've got. Let's have a look. I'm Copy Gamotion is the name. Mr. Dave, will Huey, Dewey, and Louie get a current voice like Tara Strong, Greg Griffin, Kathy Susie, and Cindy? They will eventually get new voice actors for sure. It always happens, that you'll rotate through voice actors every few decades, but they'll get new voice actors eventually at some point. Animations Down Under says, "Are you a full-time YouTuber?" This is yeah, absolutely. This is what I do full-time. I'm constantly working, and that's why I can't do a Cartoon Evolution this month, because I am full-time and I need a break for a month. But yeah, absolutely. Savage Lobo says, "Can Pixar pull off a Western film, Western-based genre film?" Absolutely, that'd be cool. Never thought about that, but that'd be awesome. You know what would I actually have spoken to people about this before, but a Woody's Roundup movie would be bloody awesome. I think I spoke with, I think it was 3C Films and Austin Burke I had on my podcast a few weeks ago, and we spoke about the idea of like a Woody's Roundup movie. They're doing the Buzz Lightyear thing, Lightyear, and I feel like they could do like a Woody's Roundup thing as well. Western genre is a bit of a tough one because it's not huge. Audiences aren't huge on Westerns, so they would have to do it. They'd have to find a way to do it that would be appealing to audiences, I think. But I think they could pull it off with something like a Woody's Roundup. But if we're talking about something that's like an original film, an original Western, if you're talking about like something like Rango, I think Pixar could do something really cool. Kate Cast Review says, "You've said before that you tend to enjoy the Disney live-action remakes. So is there a Disney animated movie you think could benefit from being brought to live action?" I feel like they've done almost all of them now. But I think Pinocchio is going to be really cool. That's coming out soon. It's going to be one on Disney Plus with Tom Hanks. I'm looking forward to that. I think that has potential. One that I have talked about for a long time but haven't actually done yet is Snow White. And I think that would be that'd be a really good one for live action. I think that's got a lot of potential, that story, to be like a really good kind of, maybe dark, maybe taking like a more of a darker route. There has been a lot of like Snow White movies, stuff like Mirror Mirror, Snow White and the Huntsman. That was like kind of a dark, grungy take on it, wasn't, I guess, Snow White and the Huntsman, but it wasn't really the traditional, pardon me, oh, hiccups. It wasn't like the traditional take on Snow White, so I feel like if Disney did like a traditional thing kind of in that, I think that'd be quite cool, for sure. And that's like one of my favourite Disney live action, Disney animations too. So I'd love to see it get a live action. Ice Cream Hero says, what if they made a CGI Fantasia? I don't see them ever doing that because that would not be worth their time monetarily. I don't think they would make a lot of money on that. I can't remember what the last Fantasia did at the box office, but I feel like that would just be something that particularly modern audiences wouldn't gravitate towards. Even the first Fantasia didn't do very well in cinemas. People call it pretentious, and you know what it is? It's a highly pretentious movie, but it's a gorgeous work of art. It just wasn't something that was commercially viable, and I feel like it would be the same today. People wouldn't flock out to see a new Fantasia. I'm Copy Garmotion says, why Tim Allen not voicing Buzz Lightyear in the upcoming movie? This was made very clear by Pixar. Well, actually, the way they announced it was a little bit confusing, but they did try and make it a bit clear. What's happening with the Buzz Lightyear movie is it's not the toy Buzz Lightyear. It's not the Buzz Lightyear that we see in the Toy Story movies. So, for example, Buzz Lightyear in the Toy Story movies the toy in the movies is based on like a franchise of superhero movies or whatever. Like you see, there's the part in Toy Story 1 where he sees an ad for Buzz Lightyear on the TV. So if you imagine in the Toy Story universe, Buzz Lightyear is a huge franchise. There's probably comic books, there's films, there's cartoon series and stuff. And naturally, when they make a toy based on a movie, it doesn't always have the same voice actor. Like there are Buzz Lightyear dolls out there that don't have Tim Allen's voice on it. So if we take it like this, the movie version of Buzz Lightyear has the voice of Chris Evans, but then when they made the doll from the film, it has a different voice. It has Tim Allen's voice. So that's kind of why they're giving him a different voice. They're giving him Chris Evans. Again, in my opinion, that is just there's like fantastic casting. You got Captain America himself playing Buzz Lightyear. I think that's wonderful. But that's the reason behind it. I think it's actually really good. I think it's going to be really cool. And you know, this film's going to be about like Buzz Lightyear at his prime as like a space ranger superhero, and he's voiced by someone who's a bit younger. Tim Allen, his voice is a lot older now. He's getting a lot older now, and particularly if you listen to Toy Story 4, his voice is a lot gruffer. It's got a lot of age to it, and I feel like it wouldn't work. So that's the reasoning behind that one. Look, guys, we've got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to, again, just keep picking from here. Otherwise, if you do want your question absolutely answered, the Super Chat is the best way to do it. You get your name on the screen as well. Otherwise, let's go through here. Shai Sherman asks, what is my favourite supporting my favourite supporting Simpsons character? Oh, I don't know. I love it. Again, it's the whole idea of like a ensemble where you can't break the pieces apart. Groundskeeper Willie, I always loved. Sideshow Bob, I always loved the episode with Sideshow Bob. Barney, Mo. You just can't pick one. They all just have their own like quirks and just things that just work so well. But they're probably like my favourites, top of the top. Those guys. Radio Mike. My good friend Radio Mike. Again, this is a guy you got to check out. Check out Radio Mike. Does great stuff. Fantastic podcasts. Runs a couple of podcasts that are very, very good. So check him out on podcast, but also check him out on YouTube. He's kind of just started on YouTube this year, and he's doing some really, really wonderful stuff on here. Go and check out Radio Mike. Subscribe to him. Check his videos out and stuff. Radio Mike says, Dave, what are your thoughts on Rugrats All Grown Up, the spin-off series? It was okay. Like, it's not something I watched in its entirety, but I saw it, and I think maybe I was maybe a little too... I don't know. There was a point there where I wasn't really watching like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, Disney Channel and stuff. I think it might have been kind of in that period where I just kind of didn't really see it. But what I have seen of it, I did enjoy. I don't have the DVDs. I've watched a little bit of it, and it's okay. I don't think it holds a candle to the original Rugrats series. I think when you start messing around with the formula a little bit, it's always not necessarily a recipe for disaster, but it's you can never capture that same spark. But I think what they did with it's quite good, and particularly for its audience, it was good as well. So it's okay. It exists And I have no problem with that. It's an innocent program, which is, quite enjoyable for what it is. But thank you, Radio Mike. Mike's a great guy. Go and follow him. Podcasts, YouTube, whatever. I actually did a video with Mike. I did a chat with him, one of his podcasts. He did a video thing. Go and check that video out if you like. That's on his channel. Or you can find it on my channel. I think I've linked his video through one of my playlists. So if you go to my collaborations playlist, which is on my channel, there will be a link to his video through that. So you can go through that, and then through that you can go and subscribe to him. Or just go to his channel, either way. Anyway, again, we're running very short on time here, and we're going to just take a few more questions from the chat. Again, best way to get a question answered at this point is 100% super chat. You will get answered in the next couple of minutes here. And I think we have got a super chat coming through. There we go. Mr. Brightside, thank you very much. A very generous super chat right there. Mr. Brightside says, when you invest in Pud, you invest in your friends. Very, very true. It's a wonderful reference to a great program, a great Australian troupe, comedic troupe, Auntie Donna. Go and check their stuff out. It's really awesome. Mr. Brightside says, thanks, Dave and old mate Rick. You guys are great. Old mate Rick is sitting over here moderating. We'll turn the camera. There he is. Very cool. So thanks so much for your super chat. I really appreciate that. And yes, when you invest in Pud, you invest with your friends. Did you have a bit of Christmas Pud? We had some Christmas Pud. Absolutely. Absolutely had a bit of Christmas Pud this year. Who else had some Christmas Pud? Oh, love a bit of Christmas Pud. All right, guys, we got 2 minutes left. So I'm going to just pick off a few questions here. Ayano fan JVD says, hey, Dave. Hey, Ayano fan JVD. Oh, Jeffrey Richards. What's your favourite Warner from Animaniacs, please? I want to know. I did answer this before. I can't pick a favourite Animaniac because they are all really wonderful. Let's have a look. I'm gonna go further up the chat because I think I missed a lot of stuff. I'm gonna try and pick something from someone that hasn't had a question answered just yet. I feel like I answered a lot of these questions actually. Mr. Krabs asked, what's my favourite movie? My favourite movie, I've said it actually a couple of times today, is The Wizard of Oz. Otherwise, like maybe Star Wars is probably my next very close one. And the Avengers movies, Marvel. I feel like I love Marvel more than I love Star Wars these days. I don't know, let's go down the bottom now. I'm getting lost up in the chat. We're gonna get a couple of we're gonna sign out just in a minute. Blank Blankness says, are you excited for the release of the Loud House movie in April? I can't say I've ever watched the Loud House, so I can't say that I'm excited for it, but I will probably watch it and review it, I imagine, because it's a Disney Plus thing. I can't say I'm excited for it, but I'm curious, and I will check that one out for sure. Angel Martinez asks, who's your favourite cartoon animator? I can't pick one. I think they're all wonderful. I think the top things that come to me are Chuck Jones, Ub Iwerks, the work that these guys did in revolutionising their work and kind of revolutionising animation. I think is just really, really wonderful. I'm going to take this one last question because it's a funny one. Devesh Sood says, thoughts on Cats? I'm the idiot who both watched it twice and really liked it both times. I haven't watched it yet. I've heard a lot of people who watched it and just loved it because of just how bad it is. And I will get to it eventually. Eventually I will get to it and watch it. And I will probably be in the boat that just thinks it's just so wonderfully bad that it's so enjoyable. I've heard a lot of people who have watched it over and over and over and over again. I'll check that one out eventually. But look, guys, I do have to sign out now. It is clocking over an hour. I've got a live chat session with my Patreon subscribers, supporters. My Jeff Live said, will you be up to the Patreon hangout? Absolutely. Half an hour's time that one starts. We're doing that one on Google Meet. That is only open to Patreon supporters. So it's going to be a kind of a smaller, I don't know how many people are going to show up. It's going to be a smaller thing. If you are a patron, head to patreon.com/DaveLeeDownUnder. You will find the link in there for the Patreon chat. And he's going to be starting in half an hour over again on Google Meet. If you're not a Patreon supporter, you can still go over to patreon.com/DaveLeeDownUnder and sign up for as little as $1 a month. You're not locked in. You can cancel at any time. You can take part in that chat that's going on over there. Otherwise, thank you all for showing up. It's been wonderful. Thank you to everybody who submitted any questions, particularly those who submitted super chats. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for turning out. We'll do another one of these maybe a week or two's time. I feel like I should probably do a couple of these while I'm not putting up a lot of videos online. It's always fun. So thanks for turning out. Thanks for submitting questions, all that stuff. This week on the channel, I don't think there's a lot of there's obviously no big stuff going up because I'm not doing big videos, but this week on the channel there will be a voice evolution video, I think, which you should enjoy, hopefully. It's one that everyone has been requesting for a long time. So thanks again. Really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Take it easy, guys. Take care.